question.
Reflected consciousness. We say like Chidabhasa.
When you say reflected means, what is the meaning of how it means? What is the question?
How it is reflected, like I feel that this is my body, this is my mind, and this is the origin of the I thought.
See, you have seen magnet, right?
Yeah.
So your question is how the reflected consciousness, nature of reflected consciousness.
Okay. Nature, yes, Guruji.
You have seen the magnet, right?
Yeah, Guruji.
And magnet you bring near iron filing. Okay, then what happened to iron filing? Iron filing also become magnet. That's induced magnetism.
Induced, right? Yeah.
Iron filings are not magnet. The magnetism is induced. But does anything happen to the magnet? Nothing.
Nothing happens.
The induction happens. Similarly, when the material which can induce consciousness is there, the consciousness gets induced in the material.
Okay, Guruji.
Right? That the material has no consciousness. It gets induced. Like magnetic iron filings don't have consciousness, magnetism. Magnetism gets induced into that.
Okay, Guruji.
Understand? So the consciousness is present everywhere. It's Brahman. Okay? But induction cannot happen for every material. Like magnet cannot induce into a stone. Magnet cannot induce into wood. It requires an iron filing to induce magnetism. Similarly, consciousness to induce something into the matter, the matter should be subtle matter.
Okay, like the mind.
Like the mind, Sukshma.
Sukshma.
That subtle mind has the ability to reflect consciousness. Just like iron filings only can become magnet, not the stone or not the wood.
Okay, Guruji.
Understand? So
yeah.
Consciousness is induced. Now you can confuse. Say, body appears to be conscious. I am consciousness, you say. What you forget is the body is not conscious. Body has induced consciousness. That induced consciousness is called Chidabhasa.
Okay, Guruji. Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
Anybody else any questions? Yes, Ramani.
This is with reference to the two questions before by Biplav goes about thought.
Yeah.
So you ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ observed, observer ಎಲ್ಲ thoughts ಅಂತ. Then sometimes you suddenly feel blank and you say I am blank. Is that also a thought?
I am blank. Blankness is an object. See, when you observe blankness, the blankness is observed. Correct now? Observed is blankness is a thought. This is an observed object. I am observing blankness is also a thought.
Okay. But then nididhyasana ಮಾಡುವಾಗ when sometimes ನೀವು ಹೇಳಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ ರೂಪವಿತ್ತು ಶಬ್ದವಿತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೀವು ಇದರ ಹೋದಾಗ ನಿರ್ಗುಣ ಇದು ಹೋದಾಗ ಒಂದ್ಸಲ we do become blank.
We don't become blank. We observe blankness.
We observe blankness.
See, we don't become blank. Never.
Okay.
Right? We become blank when you identify the blankness.
Okay.
Right?
So that will be the experience afterwards.
Which is experience afterwards?
ಇವಾಗ ಮಾಡೋವಾಗ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ when you look back you feel ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಬ್ಲಾಂಕ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಸುತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ?
ಅಲ್ಲ, the blank ಆಗಿದ್ದು experience. At that time you have identified the blankness.
Okay.
Right? Blankness is also an object. Right? I am the observer of the blankness is also a thought. A real observer cannot be seen, experienced, just observing. For example, I am seeing through these glasses. Eyes cannot see itself at all. I am the seer of blanknesses. That's all is the understanding you have to have. The blankness is object. Absence of anything. So I am not blankness.
Okay.
So when you say I have become blank, I am blankness, that means you have identified the blankness during that period.
That means we are not fully into that.
You are not fully aware and alert.
In that nididhyasana state.
Yes, you have identified the blankness. Like in deep sleep, you identify the darkness.
Okay. If you are fully into that state and you will the nirguna nirakara idrali avakada, then this thought will not come that I am blank anta.
No, see, there is not a state called Turiya.
Ah,
See, please understand. In Vedanta, we are not finding a state called Turiya. Turiya is not a state. If it is a state, it will appear and disappear.
Turiya is the base, alva, foundation for all the three.
That means in all the states, Turiya is there.
Ah,
Okay, Turiya is not a state.
ah,
So when I'm saying I am in that state, I
ah,
cannot be in that state. I am always that,
okay.
right? So when you say we are in meditation, I am in that state. You cannot be in that state because you are already there in the background of all the states. So Turiya is not a state to be entered or coming out.
Okay.
Turiya is a state to be understood as background of every state and every thought.
Okay.
Right now you're speaking, right? Right now you're speaking, thoughts are coming and going, but they're coming and going into Turiya.
Yes, because of Turiya.
Turiya is there all the time. Now also you're in meditation.
Yes.
Now you're in Turiya. So no, I want to go to Turiya is not a state.
Okay. Okay.
Right? So Turiya has to be discovered in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state as the background of all the states.
Okay.
It's not as a specific new state.
Okay.
It cannot be a new state. It cannot be anything. New state is a temporary state. It will appear and disappear. Turiya is not appearing and disappearing. Turiya is there all the time.
Okay.
It's like a screen is there all the time. Movie comes and goes.
So this Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, along with this Samadhi also, these are all states coming and going.
Samadhi is 100% a state, mental state. Samadhi is also a mental state where your mind is made silent.
Okay.
Right? It is helpful state. It is helpful.
It helps you. Okay.
It helps you to bring some peace. But that is not Turiya.
Okay.
Turiya is there in Samadhi. Turiya is in the waking state. Turiya is in the dream state. Turiya is in the deep sleep state. One who has recognized this is called Jivan Mukta.
Okay.
See, I went into Samadhi and I came back. He's still a yogi. Because he's going to state where he's giving bliss.
So Anta Gnani even meditation bekage illa alva.
Gnani is one who is not dependent on meditation.
That's what. Okay.
Gnani is always in Turiya. Right? He may be talking, he may be walking, he may be dancing, he may be eating, he may be sleeping. That's why Sri Shankaracharya says, Yoga Ratova, Bhoga Ratova. He's in yoga or bhoga. Gnani is in Samadhi.
Okay.
Right? So people have a concept that Samadhi is a state. Samadhi is a state of a mental state. So what is Samadhi state? Samadhi state is when the mind has become silent. It's called Jagrata Sushupti.
Jagrata Sushupti. Okay.
Mind is fully awake, but mind is thoughtless like a sleep. Still, it's a mental state. But Samadhi state will help you to purify. No doubt about it. Okay. Chitta Shuddhi will help. Samadhi is not realization. So many people think that Nirvikalpa Samadhi is realization. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is not realization. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is helpful realization. Nirvikalpa Samadhi is a thoughtless state where thoughts are not there, just like deep sleep, and you are fully aware like a waking state. Okay? It is still a temporary state. Vedanta does not consider Nirvikalpa Samadhi as enlightenment.
Okay.
Vedanta considers Nirvikalpa Jnana as enlightenment.
Seeing Brahman in everything.
Aham Brahmasmi, Sarvam Khalu Brahma. In the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state, I am Brahman. So that is realization.
That background thought.
There is not a thought.
That
background is not a thought.
That background, what do you call it then? Experience.
You cannot call it anything. Background is what you
are. While you are kind of what is it? Doing business in the world, that thought that will be there at the background, no?
No. There's background, foreground, front, top, bottom. Everything is Brahman only. There's nothing called background there. Understand? But what will happen is you may do some activity in the front. For example, a mother goes to the office. Okay, when he goes to office, she does the work. Okay, she becomes an employee. But in the background, she knows that she is the mother. Correct? The background thought that I am the mother doesn't go. All activities are centered around I am the mother. I have to go home early. All those things. Similarly, Gnani always he knows he is Brahman. Okay, whereas Adnani, what will happen? He'll identify the body and says I am the employee.
Okay. 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 Thank you, Guruji.
Any questions?
Illa, I think I'll have to kind of think about this more and more deeply so that it becomes, I become that.
You don't have to think, you have to go to the source of thinking.
Okay.
Because thinking is mental domain.
Okay.
The source of thinking is Turiya.
Okay. Okay, Guruji, thank you.
Okay, anybody else have questions?
Hari Om Prabhuji.
Hari Om Vasu.
How do we recognize the recognition that I am the observer of objects is the presence of Turiya in the waking state?
Make a sentence simple, sir. That's complicated sentence I can't understand.
How is Turiya present in the waking state? In what way do I recognize Turiya in the waking state?
So what way I recognize? Who is the I who is recognizing?
Okay. The one who recognizes is that.
See, we have to understand very clearly Atmadana. In our waking state, we take three aspects: the knower, the doer, and enjoyer. Correct? The Jnata,
Yes.
the Bhokta, and Karta.
Yes.
These are three roles we play, right?
Yes.
Jnata, Bhokta, Karta. Out of which is primary?
Jnata.
Jnata or knower is the primary.
Yes.
Knower takes the role of a doer. When the body is doing something, knower says, I am the doing. Correct? When mind is going to up and down or mind is experiencing something, Jnata says, knower says, I am suffering. So Jnata is primary, Bhokta and Karta are secondary. Is it clear?
Yes. Yeah.
So knower, okay, the knower has knowledge and ignorance. Correct? Knower also is, I have knowledge, I have ignorance.
Yeah.
So knower has knowership and not knowing. Okay, knowership also changes. Knowership status also changes. It's also temporary state. Okay. I know, I don't know. The I is unchanging. The knowing principle is unchanging. The knowing principle appears as a knower. The knower identifies as a doer or enjoyer. That knowing principle does not change in the knowledge and ignorance. That's Atma.
Okay. Okay.
Are we clear?
So if we extend it to the dream state, then it is the same knowing principle in the dream state also. Right?
Knowing principle does not change in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. The knower changes, the doer changes, the enjoyer changes.
I know I have dreamt because of the knowing principle.
Correct. Knowing principle doesn't change because that's the one who is constant in all the this thing is only knowing principle.
Okay.
Knowing principle is not affected with knowledge and ignorance. Knowledge and ignorance appearance and disappearance in knowing principle.
Okay.
Are we clear?
Thank you.
Yes, Varun. One last question, then we'll meditate for some time.
Prabhuji, this is Ravan.
Yes, sir.
So in the Kapila group, there's a question that who is the knower in deep sleep?
There's no knower in the waking state, dream state, deep sleep state. All these states, there's no knower. There's an illusory knower. There's an apparent knower. Only knowing principle or Atma is there in all the states. The knower, what we call, is the ego. Okay. See, for example, when I see a banana, banana is an object and I am seer is a subject. In the process of seeing, the subject and object have become one. Is it true?
Yes.
The knower and known is object banana, knower is myself, which is body-mind complex. The knower and known have become one in the waking state, correct? In the experience of banana. Is it clear? The
Yeah.
subject and object are one, correct?
Yes.
So I am seeing banana. Is the statement correct?
Right. Correct.
Okay. So in the I am seeing banana, subject and object are not there. That's why the subject and object is gone. Only seeing is there in the experience of banana, correct?
Is there knowledge in that state?
No, we'll come to that, right? So in every state, there is a seeing or hearing or touching or feeling. Only experiencing is there in any state when the experience is happening.
Yes.
True?
Yes.
Understand? So when the experience is there, there's no knower and known. There's only knowing is there. Is it clear?
Yes.
That knowing is Brahman, which doesn't change anytime. The experiencing changes, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling changes, but the knowing is there constantly in all the states. Is it clear?
Yes.
Right? So Brahman alone is there. The screen alone is there in all the movies. Is that clear?
That's right.
But now, after the knowing is over, the knower comes into picture, the mind. So the mind splits in the experience into two, me and the object. Correct?
Okay.
So the
That's right.
naming comes after that. First, any experience is a nameless experience.
Yes. Including the knowing, not knowing state in the deep sleep.
Also is a no nameless experience in any condition.
Okay.
There is a nameless experience and named experience. The moment you name the experience, you are splitting into two, the subject and object.
Okay.
Are you clear? So who does this splitting? The nameless experience is split into two by the ego.
Mm.
Correct?
Yes.
Was ego there when the experience was happening?
Yeah. Maybe there, may not be.
No, ego is not there when the experience is happening, because subject and object is not there when the experience is happening.
Okay.
Are you understanding?
Okay. Yeah. With respect to that, knowing, knower is not there in the beginning. At
No,
that.
knower and known, subject and object are not there in any experience. Please understand. Every experience is, there's no subject and object, only knowing or experiencing is there. Seeing, hearing, touching, feeling, smelling is there. Is it clear?
Yeah. And that includes not knowing as well.
Yeah, not knowing also, right?
Yeah.
So for all this, knowing is the background. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay, knowing is Brahman. Knowing is there as a screen in all our experiences. That statement is clear?
Yes.
Okay. But the moment at some point of time, the knowing experience gets broken into three: subject, object, and experience. This is banana. I am seeing it, and seeing is happening. That it is split into triputi. Three. Is that clear?
Yes.
Naming of the experience takes place. Not during the experience, but after experience. A split second after experience.
Okay.
Okay. So now, I am seeing is the person, body. And this is banana is a name. Are we clear?
Yes.
So now, I am the person, body is brought from memory. This is banana is brought from memory.
Yeah.
The memory is not present moment experience. Memory is the past experience is brought to the present, superimposed on the present.
Yes.
So past is superimposed on the present. That means it's unreality is superimposed on the reality.
Okay.
In any experience, there's no knower at all. The knower is brought from the past. Is that clear?
Okay. So,
And who brings this knower from the past is called ego,
or jiva.
jiva. So in deep sleep, there's no knower. There is in any experience, there's no knower. The knower appears as a naming, either in deep sleep or waking state. It comes as an afterthought.
Okay. Good. So, when the knower is there, that means jiva is there and knowing and all this triputi is there. But when knower is not there,
Triputi is not
There's
there. Triputi is not there. Triputi is superimposed from the past.
So Triputi is the illusion or appearance.
It is a superimposition. It's an illusion. Triputi is not at all there anytime. Only Brahman is there all the time.
Okay. Therefore, knowledge is actually knowing.
Knowledge is knowing. The knower is illusion.
Okay. So knowledge and knowing are actually synonymous, but appear to be separate in.
No, knowledge and knowing are not synonymous. Knowledge is name and form of knowing. Like as good as saying, wave is nothing but name and form of water. So knowledge, like this banana is knowledge, means name and form is called banana. The knowing has no name and form. Knowing is equivalent of water. Banana is equivalent of wave.
Yeah. So so here is the thing. Knowledge is then belongs to the domain of Maya because it can only exist. Huh?
Absolutely. Knower, known, knowledge, all Triputi belongs to domain of Maya.
Domain of Maya.
Only
Okay.
Brahman is there all the time.
Then why we call Brahman as Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma?
Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma is actually not a positive terminology. Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma is a pointer because Brahman cannot be pointed. In the sense, Satyam to tell Brahman is not unreal. Brahman is reality. To rule out, it's a negative, neti. Unreality is ruled out. Because you say there is something which is called Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha is not there. Then you come to a conclusion there's nothing is there. Shunya is there. To rule out the Shunya, it's called Satyam. Okay, then you think it's inert like a stone. To rule out inertness is called Chit, and you think it's limited. The rule out limit is called Ananta. Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma is pointing to reality. It's a negation.
Okay.
It's a negation of what you know.
Okay, fine.
So Brahman can be only explained in terms of negation. Sat Chit Ananda means Sat is negating Asat. Chit means negating Jada. Ananda is negating limitation. So what is there is nameless reality, which is you.
Okay, it's clear.
So when you say Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam Brahma, you're asking question Gnanam, right?
Yes.
So this Gnanam, Satyam, Gnanam. Now you say Gnanam is how Gnanam can be Brahman.
Yes.
So Gnanam, world is nothing but everything is Gnanam. See, when you say Brahman is everything in the world, right? This
Yes.
banana Gnanam, this is apple Gnanam, okay? This is cup Gnanam, right? Everything in the world is Gnanam. Okay? Understand? Are you getting what I'm saying? Everything in the world is name and form, Gnanam.
Yes. So what you're saying is knowing is only knowing itself as knowledge.
No, I'm
Knowing
not saying
principle.
has knowledge is also false, right? So I'm addressing your question of Gnanam, how Brahman is Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma.
Okay.
So is this Gnanam of this banana Gnanam?
Yes.
Okay, this is apple Gnanam.
Yeah. That this is apple is Gnanam. Yeah.
The apple Gnanam is there, right? Everything in the world is Gnanam, some name and form. What is common in all them is called Gnanam. Name and form is different. Apple is apple, name and form. Banana is banana, name and form. So what is common to them? All of them is unchanging, called Gnanam.
Yes.
So now Gnanam is unchanging in all experiences. Now the Gnanam, you have to add a word called Anantam, infinite, not limited Gnanam.
Okay.
So then when Gnanam you add Anantam, that becomes knowing.
Okay. Okay.
Got it?
So,
that's why Brahman is Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam Brahma.
okay. So these three together extended and which cannot be otherwise expressed in any form, that is Brahman.
Correct.
Okay.
So you should not miss the word. When you use the word Gnanam, you start thinking about Gnanam is also Brahman. This knowledge also is Brahman. The knowledge you have to qualify with Anantam.
Okay.
Understand?
Okay.
Which means it's not a name and form.
Yes.
Now, There's a request for repeating the answer. What is the question? See, he is asking a question. All knowledge, knower known knowledge is mithya, right? Because it's name and form. The knowing is only reality. Then he's asking the question, why Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam, Brahma is true? Where I have using the word called Gnanam. So that's why the word Gnanam is used there, because everything in the world is Gnanam. Sun is Sun Gnana, Moon Gnana, right? Everything is Gnana, knowledge. Knowledge has two components, name and form. Okay. So now you have to add the word called Anantam. Anantam is infinite. Name and form is finite. So Gnanam Anantam is knowing. So that Gnanam has to be qualified with Anantam. Then we are only speaking of Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. It means Brahman is knowing principle, which is beyond knower known knowledge. Is that the answer clear, Sean?
Yes. So what you are saying is Satyam, Gnanam, Anantam all together is pointing to the knowing principle, which is Brahman.
Exactly. Pradnanam Brahma means that.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So shall we meditate now for some time?
Prabhuji?
Yes.
Yes.
Prabhuji, there are many jnanis who also are devotees. So they realize God and they merge with God, right, Prabhuji? Then whom do they pray to?
See, they are not praying to anybody. Devotion means your question is Jnanis are also devotees, correct?
Yeah.
So whom are they praying to? Correct the question, right? Understand? So let me ask Namit. Namit, do you love yourself?
Yes.
So Jnanis love themselves because the world is also Atma,
Okay.
right? That love is called devotion.
Okay.
Understand? So Jnani can have love, no? Because his world is Atma only, no?
Yeah.
Huh? So he is not praying to anybody. He is loving himself in the form of the world. The stone is, sun is myself, moon is myself, mountain is myself, river is myself. So I love river because it's myself. I love mountain because of myself.
Prabhuji, so is he or she raising with love?
Huh? No. Rising with love is only when there's a duality. You think God is separate from you. When God is you are one with God, everything is you, then only love is there. There's no subject and object. Notice devotee and devotion is not there.
Okay.
So this is called para bhakti or supreme love. When I am separate from God, it's called apara bhakti, lower level love. There you rise with love. There you rise in consciousness with love. But once you have reached it, there's no only love. There's no God as subject and object. Everything is God only. Brahman only.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay. So let us meditate for some time.